This video is about how to create a data wall in EduClimber. This can be exceptionally helpful for special educators, classroom teachers, interventionists, anyone who wants to see a group of students on one chart with all of their, as much information as you like to put on there. So if you want panorama data and you want to see STAR and you want to see their attendance data, for all of your students in one location. That's really helpful. It has sorting features, just a lot of really cool ways to look at the information for your individual students. In order to do this, you're going to move over here to charting. You might not see all the things that I see here, but what we're going to do is go into either custom grade data wall or custom class data wall. The first thing that you're going to do is we have to build our chart, right? You have to determine what is the information that you really want to see in a chart. Keep in mind, you can make this thing huge or you can make it really small. It all depends on what your purpose is. This first section is what is the population of students you want to see. So this is talking about the year of students. If you want to see this year's students, you're clicking 23, 24, last year's students, 22, 23, and so on. We're going to go with this year. And we're going to go with Heartland for now, and I'm going to say third grade. You can put a lot of information on one chart or a little bit, but I would recommend that you not select too many grades. It just gets to be very, very, very long versus doing one grade at a time or one course on the time if you're doing a class. This is another reason why having special educators build their own custom courses is really nice because they can just look at their caseload. So if we were on the custom class data wall, you'd be able to select your caseload. I'm going to leave these alone for now. Those are just additional filters. We're going to click next. So this is what year's data do you want to see? So we already had our student population, and now we're talking about the data itself. Do you want to see just this year's data, or do you want to see this year's compared to last year's? So we're going to do both in this case. We're going to come back to this section right here, but for right now, we're just going to look at the different assessment categories. So I want to just focus on literacy for now. Okay, but you could put all of these things on your chart. It just gets to be very, very long. So I am going to scroll down here and I'm going to say I want to do the elementary grade book. And I also want to do my STAR data. I want to include that as well. All right. So now here we've taken our overall assessment and now it's saying, all right, well, how much information do you want? Do you want just basic information or do you want to drill in? I don't want all of this information. This is a lot on one chart. You won't even be able to see it all. So I really, really recommend kind of just identifying the core areas you want to see. So I'm going to say I want that, but I don't want all 36 of these standards there. Okay. I want reading and I want writing, but I don't necessarily, I don't want those. I just want my overall writing domain. All right, as we scroll down, I'm not going to put my CBMs on this time. It's third grade. Early literacy, most third graders didn't take it. So I'm really going to focus on this STAR data. Now, when I select the overall STAR, keep in mind you got to click this down arrow because all of this information is also going to be on your chart. I'm going to deselect those because I only want my main score. So what I'll see on my chart, and you can see what's going to populate on there. I can see I have a language domain, a reading domain, a reading gradebook. I have, oh, looks like I didn't deselect one thing. Let's see, right here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to have language domain, my reading domain, my writing domain, and my STAR reading. I'm going to say that I want to see all testing windows. So I want to be able to compare if they took a fall, a winter, a spring assessment for this year, and I want to see all of their grades throughout the school year. And now I'm just going to click search if this looks like what we want. Actually, there's one other thing I'm going to do before we click search. I told you we're going to come back over here. So over here, you can click in here and you can add behavior. So if you want to compare your assessments to incidents, you need to add them. And then I also want to include their attendance. So you're going to be able to see all of those things on one chart. It's going to be a big chart. We're going to click search now. All right, so here's our chart. This is my student list here. These are columns that are kind of like extra things. You can take them off, which I'm going to show you in a minute, but eventually as we start using this system more, these columns will be really helpful. Any attachment that a student has, any smart forms you'd be able to see and you'd be able to click into here, any comments, any tags. So you can see these are intervention plans were rolled over from last year. Super important data for our MTSS survey at the end of the year. And then if anybody's assigned to an intervention currently. Okay. If you want to turn these off, or if you want to turn off any column for that matter, you're going to click on those 3 lines right next to the student. I'm going to go all the way over here to my 9 little boxes. And you can see this is all of the information that's currently can be included. I'm going to say that I don't want the extras right now. You can add gender, you can add date of birth, it all depends again on what you want to see. And if I decided I didn't want to include some of these things on my chart, on my data wall, you don't have to. You can just click them off. All right. So now as you go over, you can see which of our students have majors, which have minors, based on years. So this is 22, 23, 23, 24, and so on, because I included both years. So you're comparing data. Over here, you're comparing your full day rate and your SIS rate. We talked about those earlier on the profile page. Then as you go over, these do expand if you're not sure what they are. So you can expand those. You can see the student grades. And then when you come all the way over, here's our star reading data. That over. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that you can do some sorting, which is true. So when I click this button here, oops, sorry, right up here, it's going to sort it. So I can say I want it sorted greatest to lowest, lowest to highest. Okay. Oops. There we go. So here's all of our reds in one section. Now, what's really cool about this, now we don't have all of our testing done, but let's say we did, and you wanted to identify some of our students who are still in red, and you wanted to add a tag to them, or you wanted to add them to an intervention group right from this page. So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to click these boxes here, and right up top, I can assign them to my course, to my caseload. I can add a tag, and I can create an intervention right from here. So you can group your students, which is pretty neat. I also love this because you can see, let's get this off of here. You can sort these as well. So if I sorted these, I could now say, oh, okay, so we have some really low attendance. It's reflective in the scores that the student's receiving, right? So it's just super powerful information, very good for having conversations with teachers and teaching teams to identify students that may need some additional support. You can provide them that support pretty easily based on a lot of different data points. You can save your search if you wanted to. You can edit your search and go back. We're going to talk about collections. You can pin to a collection, right? You can create scatter plots. This is something if you wanted a score display. So our star data has Lexile and Quantile scores. So I created kind of an additional display that you can add. So if I come down here and I said I wanted to add that there, now my Lexile scores are also included in this report. You can download it. However, you got to note that when you download this information, it does not come out color coded. You would have to do that separately. Not a huge deal, but just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. So I think that's it for our data walls. I think it's a very powerful tool. And again, it's a lot of playing around to make sure you're getting the information on the charts that you want, a lot of clicking of buttons. But once you kind of get the hang of it, it can be really, really great for some of your classroom level or grade level discussions that you're having. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to sit with you. I'm happy to help walk you through this again, because it is, there's a lot to it. So, but I hope you enjoy. Thanks.